Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Seahawks GM John Schneider thinks Steelers' proposed rule change is really cool idea. The Pittsburgh Steelers haven't been massive spenders, but they've added a few players in free agency. They're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers, so they could end up with one more big addition. Many NFL teams are moving on to the next phase of the offseason, though. That includes proposing rule changes to the competition committee. The Steelers have one proposal this year, wanting to slightly alter the legal tampering period before free agency. Seattle Seahawks general manager John Schneider thinks it's a good idea. Pittsburgh presented a rule change that says, during that negotiating period, you can get on an hour-long Zoom call with a prospect and the agent, which I think is a really cool idea, Schneider said on the Seattle Sports YouTube channel. When you're spending that kind of money, you really want to look somebody in the eye and have them talk through their injury history, or if they've had some issues off the field. You want to be able to really talk through it with a person. It seems like the Steelers have Schneider's support for their proposal. His explanation makes a lot of sense, too. During the legal tampering period, teams can agree with players to terms on a deal, but nothing is official. Teams can't meet with players during the legal tampering period. It does seem kind of silly, considering insiders will report that deals are getting done. Our latest videos. The Steelers also want teams to be allowed to book travel for free agents they agree to terms with before the new league year officially starts. These aren't massive changes, but they would probably make the whole process smoother. It just seems like an update for legal tampering. The Steelers have become a much bigger player in free agency in recent years, so it isn't surprising to see them try to make improvements. They've been much more open to handing out big contracts. Last year, they gave Patrick Queen a hefty payday. This year, they gave DK Metcalf a massive deal, although they acquired him via trade, not free agency. Still, that shows the Steelers' willingness to spend a lot of money on players from outside their organization. That wasn't always the case. This rule change should benefit every team, not just the Steelers. Had it already been in place, maybe they could have landed Rodgers by now. Hopefully, the NFL's competition committee feels the same as Schneider and approves this rule. Jerry Dulac has been told not to rule out Steelers drafting first-round RB, views rookie as starter over Jaylen Warren after parting with Najee Harris. How will the Steelers address the running back position? They added Kenneth Gainwell in free agency, but this was always regarded as a year to draft one. While the Steelers tendered Jaylen Warren at the second-round level, they still have work to do. And that could involve some heavy lifting, Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette suggests. While not in favor of it, Dulac wrote recently that he has been told not to rule out the Steelers using their first-round pick on a running back. That would be consistent with some of the moves they've made, meeting with the likes of Ashton Jeanty, Amarian Hampton, and Travion Henderson. But they have also scheduled pre-draft meetings with quite a few mid-round prospects, covering their bases. The Steelers have drafted a running back in the first round twice under Mike Tomlin, most recently with Najee Harris. They opted not to pick up Harris's fifth-year option and let him walk in free agency earlier this month. In his second season, Tomlin used his first-round pick on Rashard Mendenhall, who also did not see a second contract. Le'Veon Bell was a second-round pick in between and the most successful of the three. They attempted to sign him to a long-term deal, but he balked at the lack of full guarantees. AFC North report, Aaron Rodgers, Steelers update could be huge for division. There are 3 teams left in the NFL that do not clearly have a starting quarterback in place for the 2025 NFL season: the Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Tennessee Titans. The Browns have had rumors all over the place, especially around QB Kirk Cousins, and had QB Russell Wilson in for a visit. We even had a wild rumor pop up that made no sense financially and was quickly disputed by just about everyone. There are not many options left in NFL free agency, but QB Cam Ward could be the answer for Tennessee or Cleveland, while QB Shedeur Sanders' stock is uncertain, at best. the Steelers have not been connected to any other options besides veteran QB Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers visited the team for 6 hours but didn't sign and is still on the free agent market. The Minnesota Vikings have either said no to Rodgers or at least not now, which could be gumming up the works for Pittsburgh, but the AFC North squad might have another competitor for Rodgers' retirement. As Adam Schefter noted, he is speculating based on information those around the league have gathered. If Rodgers was excited about playing for the Steelers, the contract would be signed or at least agreed upon. Instead, it seems like Pittsburgh is a backup option competing with retirement for Rodgers' decision. As DT Cam Hayward said on his Vox Media podcast, either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. Unlike the Browns and Titans, the Steelers do not have a high enough draft pick or a second-round pick to move up to select one of the top quarterbacks in this year's draft. Pittsburgh could attempt to trade for Cousins, sign Carson Wentz or Joe Flacco, or hope that Jackson Dart, Tyler Shaw or Jalen Milroe are able to step in as a starter in year one. Are you a fan? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.